Oh, I never even thought of that.
See, there would have been.
Still not happy.
I mean, if you can sue McDonald's for bringing yourself on hot dogs,
Did you ever watch it? Michael Richardson, so he did an episode where he went to school coffee. So he got his attorney Jimmy Childs to represent him. So it's this big lawsuit because it's a long controversy. But the whole one was that he gets free espressos for life. So he's the coffee place and he's all Chinese. He gets kind of and they're like, they kick me out. No, I'm Jimmy Childs. I get espresso. I'm not working. I'm not ours. I tell you, if you watch that episode, you'll die laughing. It's just because it's the whole thing. He burned himself with the coffee. So he took one of his honor. Big man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right there.
Michael, am I in your way if I stand right here? Okay. For walking in and for singing.
I brought an umbrella.
It feels good to be on the shade.
It's just like a little fish. No. Oh, okay.
I'm going to handle this.
Power on. Line in.
Ready?
God, I'm glad to see you guys here. It's a beautiful day, and God gave us this day, and we are all coming together as one, as Americans, as Illinoisans, and we're going to have a fantastic graduation. Thank you all for coming to this. Welcome, graduates, family, friends, ladies, and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to the special occasion, Illinois Open Graduation 2020. My name is Rachel Michelle. I am a woke mother of 7 children. Like many other parents, I was heartbroken to hear our graduating students would not be having a graduation ceremony. My idea for all graduating students at the state capitol turned into a blessing on Freedom and Constitution Drive. I want to thank Los Rancheros Restaurants for accommodating us all and for an amazing team of great people that has put this together. Today our graduating students are from all over Illinois. Today you are making history. You all have worked so hard to overcome every obstacle thrown at you these last few months. Today, it is you. We all are proud of you. And we're celebrating. Congratulations, class of 2020. Without further ado, Allison Salinas, my coordinator and ceremony announcer.
Hi guys. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody again. Thank you for coming, and thank you for supporting these graduates. And we're going to move this through. I know it's a hot day. So we're doing great. So I'm going to announce a woman who has grace, has love and respect for her community. I want to welcome Jill Walker for the national anthem.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, now I would like to announce, it's not a speaker, but it's a recording of a song that was directly by one of our honorary graduates, Elizabeth Brooks. So I want to welcome the song of Hallelujah. You can sit.
Give a warm welcome to Pastor Daniel Haefley.
Let's pray together, all right? Our God in heaven, we thank you so much for this day and what it represents. Thank you for each one of these graduates that have worked so hard against a lot of opposition. God, I thank you for the organizers of this program who had the courage to stand up and do what was right. Thank you for an America that gives us the freedom to openly pray, to openly worship you. God, we praise you right now for all that you've allowed to come to pass. Thank you that our governor is back down on the churches right now. I appreciate you speaking to his heart about it. And I ask you to continue to speak to his heart, to continue to open up more of Illinois. God, I pray for all of the things that are going on here around us, the people that are sticking their necks out, the people that are trying to do right. God, bless them, bless all of their efforts, and we'll thank you for that. Bless this time together. May we be able to honor these graduates the way they should be honored. Thank you for their work, what's represented here. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
would like to introduce the senior pastor at the Revival Church in Mattoon in Lovington, Illinois. She holds a bachelor's degree in theology from the International College of Excellence. She is the mother of 5 beautiful children and is the heart of her community. Please welcome Pastor Jill Walker.
Aren't you thankful it's sun shining and not raining? I'm so thankful for that. As I was preparing this, I was getting excited. I really was. To be able to speak to the graduates from all backgrounds, from all ages. And I reviewed it afterwards, and I was happy. And I hope this makes you happy as well. It's entitled, Release the Past and Embrace the Future. Future means time regarded as still to come. Embrace means accept or support willingly and enthusiastically. What goals have you already set in your future? Without goals, there's little desire in life to achieve or succeed. I heard someone say once, I'm going to shoot for the moon, but if I fall among the stars, I'll be in good shape. So, set your goals high and don't be content with lower standards. You have only one life to live. Give it all you've got. Listen to those around you who have lived a while. Their experience may spare you from setbacks in your own life. Wisdom is listening to seasoned mentors who will care enough to advise you and love you enough to let you take some risk. Life is full of risks, so don't be afraid to take some. We all make mistakes and some bad decisions from time to time because we're human. But learn from your mistakes and don't dwell on them. Release your past and embrace your future. Think of how big a front car window is in comparison to the rear view mirror. To get to where you're going, you look ahead to get there. In counseling over the years, I've noticed those who release their past and learn from it, these kind of people gain a much more positive momentum of energy and desire to embrace their future. While those holding on to their past rehearse their unpleasant memories, or even the good ones, like it was frozen in time. Memories are good if those memories hold a person back, though, from achieving their bright future. That individual is only hurting himself. Even through defeat and failure in life, if you decide there is hope, there is success waiting for you, and the world needs your gifts, talents, and abilities, you will succeed. Let me give an example of someone very famous. It is someone you have heard of, especially right here in Springfield, Illinois. That person happens to be Abraham Lincoln. Here is his failure list. He lost his job in 1831, defeated for state legislature in 1832. He failed in business in 1833 and was elected to state legislative in 1834. His sweetheart died in 1835. He had a nervous breakdown in 1836. He was defeated for Illinois Speaker of the House in 1838. Defeated for nomination for Congress in 1834. Elected to Congress in 1846. He lost the nomination in 1848
rejected for land officer in 1849, defeated for U.S. Senate in 1854, defeated for nomination for vice president in 1856, I'm almost done, and again defeated for the U.S. Senate in 1858. But guess what? In 1860, he was elected the President of the United States. After all those failures and defeat and even lost his sweetheart, he was elected President of the United States in 1860. You see, Abraham Lincoln didn't let his failures or past stop him to excel into his victorious future. In life, temporarily, there will be setbacks, losses, and broken dreams. Keep focused on your goals, dreams, desires, and future. Don't let your age, let me say that again, don't let your age, physical limitations, or even background be a hindrance or obstacle in your way. You may be the only person in your family to even get a college degree. Good for you. It says in Psalms 18:29, "For by thee I have run through a troop. By my God, I have leaped over a wall." The future is yours. You only go around once. Give life all you've got and live each day with gusto as if it were your very last day on earth. Live life to the absolute fullest. Be responsible. Walk in integrity. Work hard. Show respect and love to others. You'll be amazed at the open doors and opportunities that will arise. Happy graduation, graduates. The future is yours. Congratulations.
I would like to give a warm welcome to Dr. Daniel Hafley, pastor and author. He has been in ministry for 35 years and is the pastor of Maranatha Baptist Church in Mattoon, Illinois.
So are you guys warm? Are you hot? I asked him to turn on the air conditioning. You notice the breeze? I did that. No, I'm kidding. You know. Give me your attention just for a few seconds. I'm not going to take very long. You got a lot of speakers and it's warm out there. You're ready to get this over with, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if you've heard of Euclid of Alexandria. Euclid wrote 13 books called The Elements around 300 BC. Probably all of you have it in your libraries. No? Okay. These books basically laid the foundation for geometry. They're assumed as axioms without proof. You heard that? Deb Russell in her book, or Basic Geometry course, makes this statement. Not everything is proved in geometry, thus we use some postulates, which are basic assumptions or unproved general statements that we accept. Okay, so basically, that's kind of what's going on in our culture right now. There's been a whole lot of assumed postulates, and we're basing our decisions on those assumptions. And those assumptions could be wrong, those assumptions could be right. We'll see. Math and science are like that. To determine an unknown, you always have to begin with a known. That's the only way you can start. If you're going to build a building, you have to start at one point to draw the building. You have to start somewhere. And so sometimes you have to pick a point, and maybe that point might be wrong, but that point is necessary. To measure a distance, you must begin with a fixed point. It's commonly known in all scientific fields, which is why I'm surprised by a statement made by a scientific or a teacher, so-called science teacher, about a belief in God. Here's what happened. New York Times, August 23, 2005 edition. It was a scientific conference at City College of New York. A student in the audience rose to ask the panelists an unexpected question. Here's the question. Can you be a good scientist and believe in God? The reaction by Herbert Hauptman, a Nobel laureate, was quick and sharp. No, he declared. This kind of belief is damaging to the well-being of the human race. He also stated that the belief in the supernatural, especially belief in God, is incompatible, he says, with good science. And I want to tell you, that's the kind of unscientific opinions you're going to find by people who exclude the idea of intelligent design from the classrooms. The debate in our culture is not raging over what is true science and what is not. No, indeed, the debate is really about where you start, what your starting point is, your fixed point where which you begin to draw the geometric design we call your life. Evolutionary scientists begin their study with the belief that there is no God. That's where they start. So every time they look at the data, they say, well, there is no God, so if this data seems that there is God, there can't be, so we're going to have to exclude the fact that there's God, and maybe we'll push this data over to the side in a box because we don't understand it. That's really what happens. The intelligent design scientist, someone who believes that someone created us, begins their study with an intelligent designer. They reason that because our world is full of specific design, it is rational to conclude that there is a force much smarter than we who designed it. Now, I'm not here to debate faiths. I'm not here to debate denominations. I'm not here to debate any of that at all. What I want to talk to you about is this. If you are a smart person, you will figure out that somebody made you. Hello? Somebody made you. Maybe you don't know who he is. Maybe you don't feel like you can connect with him. Maybe you don't follow him on Facebook or know his Twitter feed. But somebody, somewhere, started all this. Maybe you feel like he walked off and left you here. But the fact remains, a starting point for a person who thinks is that somebody made everything that is made. At this point, if you were in my church, I would stop and look at you and say, I'm waiting for an amen. And you guys are just staring at me. Get this over with, please. All right. An education, give me a couple more sentences and I'll be done. An education should not be about indoctrination of one idea or another. Education should be about exposing students to ideas and philosophies of the world. Let the students see the differences. Let them draw their own conclusions from the facts in front of them. What we're seeing today is a lot of indoctrination. Whether you believe in God as a fixed point, let me hold that with my elbow, or whether you don't. Some pseudoscientists are afraid that a thinking person will naturally come to the thinking position that every design has a designer, and that, by the way, brings with it some responsibility. I'd like to encourage each graduate here today to let truth take you where it will on a journey of discovery. Here's something you can write in your diary if you want to. Truth can stand scrutiny. Never forget that. Truth, whatever truth is, can stand scrutiny. You can follow truth wherever truth will take you. Do you hear that? Don't ever forget that. Truth can stand scrutiny. Let your journey begin with a very rational belief that the most complex design in the universe, the human person, that's you, has a designer. Start the engineering of your beautiful and exciting future with a rational, fixed point that there is a supreme creator who had a purpose in making you, and you are to fulfill that purpose. Bring him into consideration as you draw the lines of that beautiful geometric design of your life. And I guarantee you that you will find purpose and order in a world full of chaos. Thank you for your attention. God bless you all. My prayers are with you.
Can we give a warm welcome to Paul Durr, candidate for the 112th State Representative.
I want to thank the organizers for having me here. It's actually a really, really amazing honor to be standing in front of you guys today and enjoying your moment that you guys worked so hard for. I want to talk a little bit about passion, persistence, and dedication to what you guys believe in. You came this far throughout your lives, and you've worked so hard to get to the point where you are now. You haven't given up, you never gave in, and you kept on going. Even through probably some of the hardest tests, some of the hardest social moments, and some of the hardest times that you'll have experienced in your youth that you of this far. I'm going to tell you right now, it's still all ahead of you. I'm 45 years old. I come from a small town. I didn't have a lot of money, and I was kind of considered a class, clown, goof off a little bit like that. So my grades weren't exactly top notch. I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor or a lawyer or make thousands and thousands of dollars a week. But what I did have was that drive and that passion and that persistence. So what I kept doing is I kept believing in myself. I kept believing in the things that I wanted to do with my life, and I wanted to go somewhere with my life, and the only person that was going to take me there was you. You're ready so I could eventually listen to you up here on the stage. Everything that you guys do, you have to believe in yourself. You have to keep going. Like I said, I was a country boy from a small town. I am an electrician. I never expected to be rich from my career choice, but it's something I love. Now, taking that something I love and been doing it for 23 years now, and now I'm co-owner of the business and getting ready to buy out my partner to where I will run a successful business. Coming from nowhere to being somebody has actually taken me to the point where I've actually jumped into the political arena as running for a state representative of the 112th district, always continuously pushing myself to go further, faster, and harder than I've ever determined. You got to remember one thing, we're not Americans, we're Americans. We will do something we put our minds to it, and nobody can take what our beliefs are away. We have the right to be here, you have the right to cross the stage, and you have the right to receive your honors the way you were presented to them for the hard work that you put in. And I am so honored to watch you all cross the stage today and take part of the American dream so that you guys can live till tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your lives while I can watch you grow up and become somebody. I can't wait to be a part of you guys' lives and watch you guys on the media and work for you. I want to be able to see you guys prosper in ways that you can't imagine. And I see you're already doing it. You're here already. Your parents have done the most wonderful thing in giving you the gift which you worked so hard for. They told you your whole lives, you have to be determined, you have to fight, you have to work, you have to get to where you are today. Nobody can take this away from you. This is what you've earned. This is where you're going to be and what you do with the rest of your life. All I can tell you is be the very best at whatever it is you want to be, no matter what it is. And somebody will buy your best. That's what people want. They want to see the best out of each and every one of you, and they will purchase that best. So I want to see every one of you from this day forward go completely in through life, giving your all. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can or cannot do something, that your determination will take you to the persistence, that it will take you to the level that you need to be. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't be something that you want to be. This is America. Live the dream. This is where you start, and I can't wait to see where you finish. I won't take up too much of your time, but I will say it's an honor to speak in front of these two men, and the people that put this on have gone through a lot of trouble in order to make this happen for you, and it's unbelievable that I'm sitting here who was nobody trying to become somebody to be able to speak to you guys in hopes that I can't wait to hear everything that you guys got to say as you continue through life. That's all I got right now, but I am so impressed with every one of you coming out here and doing what you're supposed to do and get what you're supposed to receive from all of this. This right here makes me the most proudest American, the most proudest Illinoisan that I can ever imagine to be. You guys are what keeps me driving. I hope my passion and my determination and my little inspirational speech here can keep you guys going into the direction that you've already went through, and keep going forward. Never look back. There's going to be problems in your life. You're going to run into hard times, but they will come and they will go. The most things that you'll have is the memories. You can learn from mistakes and move forward. build yourselves up and create a better tomorrow. I can't wait to see you all get through this whole thing, and I can't wait to see where you end up. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I would like to introduce a man of legends, a man who furthered his education to obtain his law degree from St. Louis University, where his academic efforts were recognized when he graduated with honors in real estate. As an entrepreneur at heart, his practice includes real estate, banking, probate, and criminal defense, among many more. Please give a warm welcome and possibly a standing ovation for Mr. Thomas DeVore.
Hello everybody, how are you today? Mr. Bailey, I just have one thing to say, sir, before I start. You see these people sitting right here? This is why we fight, sir, right here. You know, the message that I want to give to you today is quite simple. It doesn't matter what color you are, black, white, American, foreign. If you're in this country and you are a citizen or you're here legally, you have the right to enjoy the benefits of this country. Absolutely, unequivocally. I don't care what your political beliefs are. This country was founded upon those very principles. Because we all, no matter what our background, we have one goal in mind. Regardless, it permeates politics. Leave this country a better place than we found it for these kids right here. That is our goal as adults. We have to do that. And I think we can all agree that that's the goal that we have to do. It is a foundational principle of this country and of this state that we take that responsibility on. We have to do that. Okay? I can tell you that I am here trying to help the best way I can, because the very foundational principles in which this country was founded is how I, coming from a small, most of my life trailer park, with families that didn't have any money. My mom was on welfare, God love her, but she didn't have any money, that had the opportunities that this country gave to go through college, and I worked my way through college to be able to stand here today to defend those very principles by which these graduates should be able to enjoy as well. That's why I'm here. That's the only reason I'm here. That's a responsibility, though, that we have to take upon ourselves as the adults, and that I'm asking you graduates to take upon for yourselves. Now, this country, the freedoms that we have and the opportunities that we have, they weren't given to us. They were earned by our ancestors. They fought for those freedoms, and they passed that on to us, and we have an obligation to fight to keep them. Because I can trust you, or trust me when I say, well-meaning people may try to take those away because they're trying to help you. I've told people all along that if our freedoms are going to be taken away, they're not going to be taken away by someone on a black horse. They're going to be taken by somebody on a white horse trying to help us. That is history, and that's what we need to try to deal with. Now, how do we do that is the question. There's a couple of ways. One, as we all know, we have the mightiest military in the world. They protect us from harm's way across this country. Overseas, they do the great job, and we owe them a debt of gratitude that we may never be able to repay. But for those of you who are sitting here today as graduates, that may not be your path. But I would still suggest to you that the obligations and the duties that you have as citizens of this country are just as important. They're every bit of important. Because those freedoms that they have fought to give us and to protect us from, we have to keep those protected here at home as well. We have that absolute duty. And you ask yourself, but you say, Tom, I'm not going into the armed forces. That's okay. Because your job is still just as important. And that job is being accomplished by you as you sit here today, whether you understand that or not. It's knowledge. An informed citizenry is the most powerful weapon on the planet. So is the heat. I'm serious, though. I've said that all along. Informed citizenry is where it's at. If you are informed and you have knowledge and you have the courage to use that knowledge, you can save this republic. And I would suggest to you that you have to do that to save this republic. That is an important message that I learned When I walked across the stage a long time ago when I got my undergraduate degree, then I walked across the stage when I got my law degree, I didn't know what God had in plan for me. I didn't know, and until recently I was trying to figure that out even still. And His plan for me is to do everything I can to help explain to you graduates and to you parents sitting out there, is to arm yourself with knowledge, learn, understand the stuff. You know, our republic's only 244 years old, and in the time of man, that's not a very long time. In thousands of years, people were led by rulers. That's in our DNA. We have this great experiment called the United States of America, where we, the people, have the power, and we decide what of that power we give to government. It was a novel idea 244 years ago, and I would suggest to you that's still in its infancy. And so you each have an obligation to learn and understand that. And when we have a time of crisis, and we have times like we have today, we have to look to ourselves as the people for the answers to these solutions. We do not look to any one man. We do not look to an executive branch. Not because they're bad people, it's because they don't wield that authority. You, as you sit here today, you graduates, you are going to wield that authority. You make those decisions. Folks in the background, your parents make those decisions. That's the message that I want to give you today, is to take that responsibility, take that knowledge that you've learned here, continue to grow that knowledge, and to learn how you can help maintain the freedoms that this country has. Thank you. I've been given the honor and the privilege to introduce this next man. I met him about 2.5 months ago. Mr. Bailey is a representative down in is it the 109th District, sir? Yes. 109th District. He contacted me, and he had concerns about how our state was being managed. And he pulled up into my office, and I was there in my usual attire. I had a red, white, blue do-rag on and a t-shirt and rubber boots, and he says, "You're my kind of guy." And I'm like, "Okay." And I said, "Well, gotta let you know one thing, sir. No disrespect to the others might be here." I said, "I'm not a big fan of politicians." He started laughing. He said, "That's okay. I don't like them either." And he has worked, and I'm saying this to him not as a politician, but as a man. He has worked diligently. He has spent time with me, understanding and gaining that knowledge that I'm talking to you about, to realize and appreciate what is going on as it relates to the law. And he has worked tirelessly, and he is looking out to the best of his ability to protect the citizens of this state. I am honored to be able to introduce him. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Darren Bailey.
God bless you guys and everyone that's here today. I thank you so much. We gotta thank the Lord for such a beautiful and a wonderful day and this freedom that we have. Thank you so much for everyone that participated to put this on. A lot of hard work went into this, so thank you so much for Los Rancheros Restaurant that afforded us the grounds here. This is amazing, so thank you. Yeah. Don't get scared of my notes. I want to talk to you about kind of the power of one, and I didn't want to leave anything out. Usually I kind of shoot from the hip, but I wanted to honor you guys with a message of what I believe the future is going to hold for everyone here. So it's certainly an honorable opportunity to be here. I appreciate it. To honor some remarkable achievements, obviously under some less than remarkable circumstances. My name's Darren Bailey. I'm a farmer in Clay County. I've farmed all my life. Graduated high school, married my high school sweetheart, went to 2 years at Lakeland to study ag production, and wanted to get back to the farm. And Cindy and I, we've got 4 children, Zach and Cole and Abby and Mason. My 4 children are all happily married. I am so blessed that they are able to live all around us. My 3 sons work on the farm with me. My daughter Abby and her husband are worship and youth leaders at a local church. And through them, we've got 9 grandchildren, which is what ultimately culminated, the desire that God put into my heart to serve, to protect the future here in Illinois for them. So I never dreamt in a million years that I'd ever be interested in or running for a political position. So I served 17 years on the North Clay School Board, the last 12 of those as a board president. Cindy and I went on shortly after I got off the board to found a Christian school in Louisville, Illinois. That's our hometown, Full Armor Christian Academy. Cindy serves as the administrator there, and Full Armor Christian Academy is currently home to 150 plus students, pre-K through high school. So we are really blessed to have that and to be able to do that. And then I get up here as to serve as representative, and I was honored to serve on 3 education committees here in the General Assembly. So it's education's near and dear to our hearts. So and I just thank you so much for everyone that put this on. Thank you for being here, that we can honor your achievements all the way across the board today. One thing's for certain, 2020 will certainly be a year that you will never forget. You know, I know that I graduated from junior high in 1980. I graduated from high school in 1984. I graduated in the community college in 1986. And honestly, the only thing that I can remember is just the simple fact that I married my high school sweetheart in 1986. Other than that, I really don't know what happened of any of those particular years. But 2020 is going to be a year that I don't believe you will ever forget. Many of you have listened to your grandparents, maybe your great-grandparents, talk about the Depression. We've heard people talk about World War II, Korea, Vietnam, many of the instances that took place that were, that played a vital role in American history. 2020, with this COVID situation, is certainly going to be one of those times, and you're going to be able to say that you were there, you lived it. There are certainly some extremely valuable lessons to be gleaned from the experience this year. Let's consider these, and you've heard every one of our speakers mention this. What about what it means to be an American? What about the freedoms that past generations have sacrificed that we honored last week? What about the freedom that our Constitution guarantees us, that freedom that can so easily be taken away if we allow it? We're living it, friends. As you move on in life, whatever stage that you're in right now, life will be full of decisions and it'll be full of choices, and it is those choices and decisions that you make in real time that's going to shape your life. I want to read to you from Scripture that I find great hope in. It comes from Jeremiah 29:11 through 14. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek and you will find me when you seek me with all of your heart. That's God talking to us, telling us that if you want the ultimate for your life, if you want things to be awesome, you will seek Him, and then He will reveal Himself to you. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back from captivity. That comes from Jeremiah. That's a powerful promise. Now I'd like to just kind of complement that with the story of why I'm here, why Tom's here, and ultimately, I believe, why you're here. I want to tell you a story about just grabbing hold of opportunities, the power of one, that moment, what you do with each and every decision that comes your way. About 4 weeks ago, my legislative assistant and I, maybe it's been a little longer than that, Tom alluded, everything after a while, when you get older, everything's 10 years ago, so, and especially now, everything's 2 weeks ago, so, but anyway, about 4 to 6 weeks ago, Jose Durbin, my legislative assistant, and I, we were traveling through our district delivering PPE, these supplies. We had hand sanitizer, we had some gloves, and we had some masks. We were delivering those to a local prison and some local health departments, some donations that we had been given. Well, Jose, he's 25 years old, so some of you may relate to this, but he's always got these wild ideas, and out of nowhere, he just sits up in his seat and he says, "Darren, we need to sue the governor." I said, like, okay, shut up and let's focus on what we're doing, because we're not suing the governor. I've never sued anyone, and I've never been sued. So he obliged, and we got to talking about and going about our business. The very next day, a good friend of mine in the district calls me up. He says, I want to sue the governor. How do I do that? I'm like, I have no idea. So I called my personal attorney, and I asked him, I said, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but everybody's wanting to sue the governor. How do you sue the governor? And my attorney said that, well, you got to find a constitutional lawyer. So I called my friend back. This was on the first conversation when Jose spoke up and talked about suing the governor. This was on the Wednesday before we actually filed the suit. So then it was on a Thursday that my friend called and wanted to sue the governor. So I told him on Friday. He calls me back and he says, well, I found that constitutional lawyer, but there's a little problem. He's a friend of J.B. Pritzker's, and he told me to jump off a cliff. So we had to laugh about that. So the weekend came and went, and then finally on Monday, a good friend of mine up here in Springfield who's a journalist. He's a very good journalist. He's a fair journalist. He calls me up and he says, I'm doing a report on taking legal action against the governor. Would you be interested in to participate? Because he knows I'm kind of wild and bold. So I said, absolutely. Now, I wasn't worried about a thing, because typically when this journalist does his interviews, it's about a week later before the report actually comes out. So I was fine. I had a week to prepare for whatever this was going to be about. So we did the interview, and I was edgy. And 2 hours later, I get the email that said, the story's up. I'm like, oh my goodness. I thought I had a week to prepare for this. Headline of the story: Darren Bailey considers legal action against the governor, and it was bold and edgy. The next day on Tuesday, had another journalist with the Washington Examiner call, and they had seen this story. They said, hey, I hear you're thinking about taking legal action against the governor. I said, I don't know, maybe. And so I just kind of stepped it up a notch with this reporter's questions. And I don't know, God was kind of opening the door and preparing the scene for something that I would have never dreamt in a million years. And the next day, that Tuesday, you can find every bit of this back on my Facebook post. If you just roll on back there, you'll see this story. Story comes out and says that Darren Bailey is considering suing the governor. And anyway, so Jose and I at that particular day were in Effingham County delivering supplies. And I said, I think we probably better check into this and find out a little more details. So I called a couple of the acquaintances. Some of them were judges, some of them were attorneys. And I asked, I said, hey, how do we sue the governor? And one of them said, well, you're not going to believe this, but a good friend of mine who's an attorney just put up on his Facebook page a week earlier, which interestingly enough looked like it was that Wednesday that Jose first came up with the idea. And he said, you might give him a call, because he put on his Facebook page he's looking for someone to represent to sue the governor. So we were in Effingham. I called Tom DeVore. We immediately clicked. Man, he had things ready to go. And I realized I will not enter into partnership, do business with anyone over the phone or that I haven't met. I was going to wait till Wednesday, and then we called Tom back and said, hey, what are you doing? And that's when we left Effingham, headed to Greenville. That's when he rolled up in his farm attire, which I was very used to, and I knew this is the guy. So we sat down. He had everything ready to go, and the next day is when the governor rolled out his extended third extended executive order of extending the time. So the time was upon us. So that's how all that came about, just grasping, taking hold of an opportunities that God laid before us, having a relationship with Him, praying for wisdom, and being prepared to say, I think I'm going to do this. I think this is the right thing to do. And moving forward in boldness and courage. That's life, friends. Now, I don't want to leave out one little minor detail of about a week and a half ago of getting kicked off the House floor for standing up for my beliefs. Maybe some of you are familiar with that, maybe you're not. It's interesting because when you come up here to, when I do things, and I do things because I believe that God leads me to do them, and maybe He just simply offers an opportunity that I grab. But I want to tell you what, friends, It's hard, and some of you know that because you've got friends sometimes that want you to do something you don't want to do. Maybe you know what you need to do, but you're afraid of being chastised. And I consider it pure joy when I get that chastisement, because so far, just about everything that I've did, we've had media reach out and you know, accuse you of grandstanding, trying to get a name for yourself. And it's like, no, I'm simply standing up for what I believe. I'm standing up for our freedoms because I believe somebody has got to stand up. And that's what each one of you can do in your own realms and in your own life and in your own influence, wherever it is that life's going to take you. The responsibility for our future is always lived out in the present, that moment which we have a choice, and that choice that's developed through a relationship with Christ, who has promised us good if we seek Him and if we obey Him. That's what we do as Americans. We live, we love, we grab hold of opportunity, and then we work like crazy to make those dreams come true. And you've just heard that from a, you know, I think they left it out. Tom just got his, went back to school and got his law degree 10 years ago. You know, and Paul's sitting here giving you these ideas of you know, what hard work. That's what we do as Americans. But only when we have Jesus at the head can we even begin to realize the limitless possibilities that we were created for. Your Creator has plans for you to prosper. He has a future for you, and only through Him can you reach that full potential, friends. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. I know that. I've lived it. I'm a witness to that. Let me give you one final quote here from, I love history. And one of our founding fathers, his name was Benjamin Rush. He was a doctor. And it doesn't take much studying of our history to realize what wonderful men and women sacrificed, what they sacrificed in the days. They put their lives on the line, their livelihood, 246 plus years ago. Dr. Benjamin Rush is kind of known as the author of American Education. And this was his quote: "The only foundation for a useful education in a republic is to be laid in religion." Now, it doesn't take a lot of, you go back and when you see these guys talking about religion in the late 1700s, they were talking about Christianity, okay? They weren't talking about a lot of the stuff that we hear about and struggle today. Today, religion's been watered down in basically anything that you believe in. But then, religion was Christianity, a relationship with Jesus. Without it, there can be no virtue, and without virtue, there can be no liberty. And liberty is the object of all Republican governments. Never forget that. We live in a republic. We don't live in a democracy. Our government is a form of democracy, but we have a republic as our government. My prayer for you today is that if you don't have that now, that you will discover it very, very soon, friends. The world's fading away every year, and what we have just lived and are currently enduring is absolute proof of that. Thank you so much for being here today. God bless you guys so much, and thank you for this opportunity.
Firefighters risk their lives every day, and I've never met a girl as dedicated to doing that as my best friend, Lizzie. Lizzie has been my bestest friend since we both had our homecomings ruined for one reason or another. We originally met through a common friend in marching band, but it really wasn't until after our homecoming incidents that we became close. We were both there to support each other through everything after that. This last marching band season in the fall of 2019, I became junior drum major and Lizzie became color guard captain. Since we were close, I always supported her and her fellow color guard members. She's always been a very passionate, loving person. That passion carries over into her work towards becoming a firefighter. She took me to one of the Firefighter Explorer programs at a local station, and I really learned to respect what she plans to do. There's a lot that goes into it, and she's willing to do it all. She also puts forth a ton of effort into the music world. She's second chair in the Moline High School Orchestra and gained departmental honors in the same area. I helped her record her playing of Hallelujah that was played earlier, and it was breathtaking every single take. I couldn't be more proud of her musical abilities. Lizzie has done a lot in her life, and I love her like a sister. Every time we hang out and she gets ready to leave or I get ready to leave, I just want to hug her and not let go. I'm going to miss her at MHS, but she'll still be local at our Blackhawk Community College in Moline, training to be an EMT and paramedic. Before I get too deep and start bawling my eyes out, I would like to introduce you all to the high school honorary graduate from Moline High School, Elizabeth Hannah Marie Brooks.
First of all, I want to thank my best friend Brooke for that wonderful introduction. You are not only my best friend, but my sister in life. Second, I want to thank Allison and the whole entire staff for this honor. Lastly, I want to thank my parents for standing behind me throughout my school years. Mom and Dad, I couldn't have done it without you, without your guidance and help when I ran into problems. Graduates, as we look back on our school years, we have to remember that we have a lot to be proud of. Whether you are going into grade school, junior high, high school, or college, your only job was to get good grades. From the first day we stepped into that scary world of pre-K or kindergarten class, we were set on our paths we have found ourselves on today. We have learned how to make friends and how to have respect for our teachers. We all have that one teacher or teachers that were our favorites, and we looked up to them for guidance and support when we didn't understand a problem or just needed to talk. In junior high, we saw our lives beginning to change and shaped into who we've become today, and that will carry us into our high school years. In our high school years, the sound of the busy halls, the classic Friday night football games, and just hanging out with our friends became a way of life. This was the point in our lives we had to start thinking about who we wanted to be, and the kind of person we wanted to become. Whether it was a student that fought every day to get good grades, or the one that grades came easier to. We are embracing our horizons and where we would go from here. Whether it is attending a university or a community college, our paths have been paved for our future. Some of you out there will find that you can become anything you want. You only have to put your mind to the passion that is in your soul. Your future is bright as the northern star, and your course is as strong as the bonds that link your life together like the links of a chain. Even though this is a hard time, know that your parents, family, and friends are behind you every step of the way. Friends can come and go, but true friends are there for a lifetime. So I want to congratulate the class of 2020 on making it a year no one in history will not forget. Face it, this is the only graduating class that holds the record for senior skip day in history. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Emily's mom, and I was just informed that I could do an introduction for her, so I don't have anything planned, so bear with me. Emily has always been our family's miracle. She was born at 25 weeks, weighing 1 pound, 11 ounces, and we were always told that she would have a lot of learning problems and a lot of issues. Even from a young age, Emily has always been a fighter. She fought her way through her birth and all that went with it. And throughout her life, she's done the same thing. She's overcome a lot of things in her life, and this especially was something that gave such a great example to our family of hard work, dedication, determination, and tenacity. and we are so very proud of her and how far she's come. And it is my honor to introduce Emily Williams to you. And I want to say before I put this down, congratulations to all of you. I am very honored to be among you, and I wish the best for you in your future. So thank you.
Hi everyone, as you know, my name is Emily Williams. I'm 26 years old and I'm one of 6 children, not including step-siblings. When I was born, I only weighed 1 pound 11 ounces. I was extremely sick and in the hospital for the first couple of months of my life. I ended up with a lifelong lung disease and other issues as well. The doctors told my parents that I could end up blind, deaf, and have multiple learning disabilities. I went to school as a young child, but I ended up missing too many days from being sick all the time. And in kindergarten, my parents took me out of public school and homeschooled me. I learned how to plant a garden, learned about helping the less fortunate, spent endless amounts of time with family. I was able to go to multiple free field trips a year and other things that I would have not done if I was not homeschooled. When I would do school, I had some issues with remembering new things, sequencing, and spatial problems. So my parents took me to a psychologist to see what level I was in for school and how I learned. I was later diagnosed with ADHD, and my parents were told that I would never pass the 3rd and 6th grade in different areas of school, so that is what my family and I have always believed. At the age of 19, I ended up meeting my husband. He believed I had the ability to pass high school levels, so I tried to do online school at home, but I never had the drive to get it done. When I was 20, I decided to start taking GED classes at a local high school in my town. I began the classes and I had no clue how to write an essay. I didn't know a whole lot when it came to science and social studies, and I could barely do long division. The first few years I didn't try. I thought I would just magically get my GED and it wouldn't be that hard. That was a huge mistake. I would pretty much just sit in class, spending the majority of my time trying to figure out how to even do the work because I didn't understand anything, and I was too embarrassed by how far behind I was. About 2 years had passed, and my teacher at the time told me to take a practice test, and I got a really low score. I ended up retaking it after a few months, and I got a likely to pass score, and I passed the real test for social studies in 2018. I was so shocked and surprised. That June, my father-in-law passed away, and that was extremely hard for me. It was one of the hardest things that I had ever had to go through, and it caused me to become extremely depressed. I honestly did not know how I would go on. We were really close, and I looked up to him a lot. Those last 6 months of the year were the worst 6 months of my life. Not only did I lose him, I lost my grandmother almost 2 months. Grandmother-in-law almost 2 months later, who I also looked up to. I lost my dog, a grandfather, and someone who I considered my aunt. I feared everyone dying in my life for a long time, and I had no idea how I would ever move on. But I kept pushing myself, and that November I passed my social studies test. Then 19 rolls around. I thought the chaos would stop for a little bit, but it didn't. My husband and I found out that he would have to get surgery 3 months before our wedding, and I was trying so hard to get my GED before we got married. I passed my science test in March, then I passed my Constitution in April. All I needed to finish was my math, which I dreaded to ever deal with for years. I studied all the time, trying to process and push my mind to be able to learn all the necessary things to be able to pass. I took the practice test and the real test 3 times, and my score just kept getting lower. I wanted to give up so badly. I thought for sure I would just never be able to pass that test, and I unfortunately did not pass before the semester was over. I returned in the fall and really just wanted to be done. I was so tired of going to school and feeling like a failure. In October, I took another test and got a likely to pass score. I was so excited. That was the first one I have ever gotten for math before. I didn't end up passing the actual test, so I studied some more and failed yet again. I felt so frustrated with myself. I pushed myself to study at home, even when I didn't want to. I forced myself to watch YouTube videos for math to help me remember how to do the problems, and I wasn't afraid to ask for help from my teachers and other people in my class, because I knew we all struggled. But in February of this year, I had a feeling that I should try another practice test. So I did, and I got 156, which is really good. I studied for a few weeks, and on March 3rd, I passed. This is the moment that I waited for so long. I now wasn't the only sibling who didn't get their diploma and didn't get to graduate. I was always known as a shy girl, but this has given me the confidence that I needed to get through the challenges in life. I want to give a huge shout out to my husband, my family, my teacher, and everyone in my class over the course of 6 years for always believing in me, pushing me, and helping me become confident enough to take all the tests. I also want to give a special thank you to my grandpa for making this possible. I am his caregiver, and he has given me many days off so I could take the test, and I was able to study while at his house. I don't think I could have gotten this far without him. Also, thank you to Allison and the whole crew for making this possible. I hope this inspires people to never give up on something they really want. It takes hard work, dedication, discipline, and effort to accomplish something like this. Believe in yourself. Even when it's hard, you can do anything you put your mind to. Congrats to all of the graduating students in 2020. We finally did it.
Wow, if that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what does. Okay, so before we do the calling of the graduates, we're finally to that point, guys. I know you're sitting there going, come on. So we are ready now. So before we do that, I am going to introduce both honorary graduates to be able to walk the stage. Just give them a second. And again, I would like to announce Elizabeth Brooks. I would like to announce Emily Williams. Now, if I can give a warm welcome again to Mr. Thomas DeVore to join me. He will be handing you guys your certificates today. So if I can get the first row to come stand over here. Stand over here and line up. Riley. You're going to have to announce it really loud. sorry. You come up here. Come up here and then, sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
Ryan Paff, 5th grade, Olympia South. Riley Starkey, 8th grade, Winnebago Middle School. Kyle Heppy, 8th grade, Montano Middle School. Uriah Pearson, 8th grade, Parkside. Ava Austin, 12th grade, North Mac High School. Chloe Tiarks, 12th grade, City on a Hill Academy. Gabe Tiarks, 12th grade, City on a Hill Academy. Mariah Tenhoven, Elgin Community College, Associate Degree. Stephanie Adams, University of Illinois at Springfield, Bachelor of Social Work. Sheridan Melton High School, Carterville High School. Zachariah Bean, 12th grade, Yorkville High School. Bailey Wazak, 12th grade, Wheaton North High School. Luke Ambrosia, Senior High School, is that Cary Grove High School. Maria Rentas Del Valle, Bachelor's Degree, Honors, Information Security, Rasmussen College in Aurora, Illinois. Johanna Olson, Graduate School, Master's in Business Administration and Master's in Social Work, Aurora University. Joy Schultz, University of St. Francis, Master of Social Work.
Thank you, Riley and Tom DeVore. So we have come to the end of today, but that doesn't mean that this is your end. Your future is bright, and you make what you want of your life. So with that being said, I'm going to ask each row to stand up one by one and exit out. Well, hold on. And when you stand up as each row, if you have a hat, throw it. Ready? Go.
to grow as proud as we can be. Crawling, walking, 1, 2, 3, and all your ABCs. Through the awkward years and intense debates, who a young adult became. Now you're faced with a pandemic that none of us have faced. To the class of 2020,